Hello, everyone. I am going to ask you all to type something in the chat for me. Say yes if you can hear me, yes if you can see me, and I will get to work. It's very quiet. Everyone's got their computers muted, which is fabulous. Yes, yes, yes. Wonderful. Well, Merry Christmas, everyone. Although I've been saying Merry Cosmos, I think that fits me a little better. I hope you all are having a wonderful, wonderful day. I did put up a couple of videos today on YouTube, so it's been a busy work day for me, but I kind of work in a 7-day, 365 day kind of pattern. So each day is the same for me, pretty much. So I am going to get straight to Jesus's, actually before I do that, because sometimes I forget, once I've channeled, I forget about business. So I'm just going to let you know, the Mighty Networks platform is looking fabulous. I was in there today. We have about 5 or 6 people who've managed to wiggle their way in there early. We are launching it January 1st. So all of you that have subscriptions will receive an email on January 1st that will give you the access, access to the new platform. So you basically don't have to do anything. We are offering a one-time, for the month of January, we are offering a one-time lifetime subscription for $4.99. You don't have to do anything. If you're already subscribed at your monthly fee and you want to stay there, that's great. But we are doing it just as a one-time promotional item, and it will only be offered once. So it'll be, it's about 15 months, the equivalent of 15 months fees. So if you're hanging out in this community and you feel like you'll be here for a long time, that may be something that you want to consider signing up for. No pressure, obviously. You can just keep doing what you're doing. So don't panic. You don't need to worry about finding it. We will send you an email and that will give you access. So we'll send you a link and that will just get you there. But I was in there today. It looks fabulous. All of the live streamings, 90 live streamings are available. We have somebody who's just come on with their... Somebody has just come on, and could you please mute your microphone? Whoever just came on there, we hear a spooky sound. Okay, that's it for business. Anyway, I just want to encourage everybody to get excited about the new platform. It's basically got a Facebook format, so it's got conversations very similar to that, and then it's got the extensive library with MP3s and a lot of transcripts as well. So you will have lots to keep you occupied if you decide to go over there. Let's see what Jesus has to say to us today. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus, and we welcome all of you here this Christmas Day, and we hope that you have all been using this intense time of year in a positive and constructive way. That means that if you have been feeling blue, or you have been feeling overwhelmed, or you have been feeling sad, that you are witnessing what you are doing and or thinking that is causing your difficulty. This time of year is a focal point. Just as all of the holidays are focal points, and Course in Miracles students can use these focal points in a very, very productive way to look at the beliefs that are causing you pain. This is how we would like you to look at every major holiday. If you are feeling overwhelmed by obligation, for example, in the Christmas season, you may want to look at your inability to say no. You may want to look at your poor boundaries. You may be doing a lot of things that you don't want to do, but feel pressured to do. And what we would like you to do with that feeling is to take yourself to some quiet place in your house and to ask yourself, what is the voice behind that feeling? Is the voice behind that feeling saying They'll think you're a Scrooge if you don't join in. They'll think you're a Scrooge if you don't buy presents. They'll say bah humbug to you, and you'll feel bad if you say that I don't want to do Christmas dinner this year, for example. And we want to bring to your attention the movies that come on at this time of year. One of the great ways that you are trained in this society, you imagine that you are trained when you go to the gym and you hire a personal trainer, or you are trained when you're in school, but you are trained by movies. You are trained by movies, and they teach you what to value, and they teach you what to fear, and they teach you how to behave within the group mind. And this comes from a societal pattern that is particularly strong at this time. And when we say this time, we mean this time in this century and this time of year. So Christmas is a very, very big program. And this is one of the reasons that you can get swept up in it and feel as if you've got no choice. So for those of you that have been having those feelings today, we would like you to go beneath the form. Go beneath the form of, I don't want to have dinner with those people every single year. I am tired of it, and the same thing happens over and over again. Go beneath the form and ask yourself, why am I afraid to say no? Why am I afraid to do what I want to on this particular day? If you look at nature, if you look at the birds and the bees and the animals, they do the same thing on this day as they do every other day. They are not depressed or sad or feeling particularly lonely. They are not inebriated or overfeeding themselves unless a human becomes involved with that. And that does happen to some poor creatures. They get given foods that they shouldn't have. But if you look at nature, you will see that the day is the same as every other day. This tells you something. This tells you that this is a culturally manufactured day. It is the way it is because your culture says it is the way it is. It is not a thing, a truth in and of itself. You may go to another part of the world. You may go to Africa, for example, and you will not see the Christmas decorations. You will not hear Christmas songs. You will not be eating a turkey for dinner. And what we want you to realize about this is that this is optional. It is something that your culture tells you you should do, but you don't have to do it. This is one of the great freedoms that can come from questioning the thoughts and beliefs and ideas that you have that are causing you negative emotion. Remember, your negative emotion is your guidance system saying you are off track here. And it could be that you are seeking a different kind of lifestyle than you have been trained into. And this is something that is going to be happening more and more to more of you, because you are going to be feeling an alignment with truth that highlights where your society is out of alignment with truth. So what is happening as you're going through these escalating energies is that you are being pushed further and further towards truth, towards authenticity, towards congruency, towards love. And whatever in your society or your family or your culture or your workplace is out of accord with that truth, with that love, is going to become more and more apparent. And holidays such as this are going to magnify it even more. Our dear one has forgotten to turn off the washing machine. So we are going to take a short break to give her the opportunity to do that. I'll be right back. That's hilarious. I still couldn't figure out how to turn it off. I've just shut the door. And so We want you to feel joy today, even if you don't normally feel joy. We want you to see that your guidance system is working. We want you to see that the feelings that you have are valid and are guiding you towards love. So if Christmas for you is full of joy, you love going to church, you love singing the carols, you enjoy all of that, then your guidance system for you is giving you feedback. It's saying, yes, this is the right thing for you to do. What we want to bring to your attention at this time is that you all have different blueprints, and therefore you all have different guidance systems that are particularly designed for you. And so this is, again, something that we want to bring to your attention, this idea of not judging other people who do things differently. And that includes yourself. If you are getting the guidance to do things differently than the way you've always done them, the way your family does them, for example, or the way your religion does them, then it's important for you to honor that, because you are being guided along the road to the most beneficent future for you. Everybody is being guided along the road to the most beneficent future for them. And so when judgment comes up, I'm going to be ostracized by my family if I don't do X, Y, or Z. What we want you to understand is that you must go beneath the form and say, well, they're getting guided to do something. I'm not getting guided to do that. It's imperative that I listen to my guidance. And we always say that Christmas is the best time for you to address these issues and make a plan for next Christmas. Last Christmas, you will remember that we told you to think about what you wanted this Christmas to look like. Were you able to make those changes? Were you able to say to people, I'm not going to be doing that next year? And did you follow through with it? If you didn't follow through with it, do not beat yourself up, but say, I'm going to make an attempt again next year. I didn't realize how difficult it would be not to participate in this particular activity. So we don't want to belabor it today. That is enough. We have said enough. But we would like you to be glad for your guidance system today. Be grateful for your guidance system today. It is telling you something. And if you listen to it and don't medicate it, you will be given information about what you're doing that's not in alignment for you. We want everyone to feel happy all the time. We notice in the Christmas season that strangers will say Merry Christmas to each other. They will open doors for each other. They will be kind to each other. And we would like you to notice that too, that there is a choice available to all of you to be more loving, to be more generous, to be more expressive of your gratitude for your brothers and sisters on this planet at this time. And Christmas is an exemplary opportunity for you to witness that and to carry it on throughout the year. Now, each holiday that you have in your society, all of them are designed to get you to feel particular things. You'll notice how regularly they occur. You will notice how regularly they are advertised, how regularly they want you to join in things. You have 10 or 11 holidays throughout the year that you are supposed to join in. As Course in Miracles students, it is imperative that you use them to reprogram your mind. Of course, the next holiday that's coming up is New Year's Eve. And for those of you that are single, this can be a painful time because you witness movies, again, the training program that your society offers you. You will witness movies where everybody is falling in love on New Year's, or they are meeting at that special moment in time and kissing under the mistletoe on the chime of 12. For those of you that are single, it is the system is trying to get you to step into a special relationship, even though that may not be the best for you. Why would a society do that? Same with Valentine's Day, the holiday that follows shortly after. Why would a training program be in place to get you to go into relationship? Well, the special relationship is one of the most powerful arenas in which the ego is strengthened. And your society designers are all about strengthening the ego. This does not mean that love is bad, but the way society promotes love is less than healthy, less than ideal. You will hear words in songs like, I would die for you. This is not the kind of language that we would say is loving. It's sacrificial. It's based on suffering. And if you listen to love songs words, there's a lot of pain in there. There's a lot of sadness in there. There's a lot of heartbreak in there. Why would you want to go into a relationship that makes you feel so bad? It makes no sense, and yet that is what the culture is pushing you towards. So just be very well aware at each juncture, at each time that a holiday comes up, what you're being asked to fall into, what you're being asked to copy, what you're being asked to promote. And what you will find is that you have many opportunities throughout the year to shift your belief systems a little bit. Shifting your belief systems a little bit into more in tunement with nature. We would prefer you to be looking at the arrangement of the stars and the seasons and the weather. We would prefer you to be aligning with that. Oh, the sun just came out. I'm going to go for a walk. Oh, it's raining. I'm still going to go for a walk. Reprogramming yourself so that you get to have a new experience of, the rain feels nice on my hair. It doesn't matter that my hair is getting messed up. It actually feels good to walk in the rain. Reprogram yourselves at every opportunity that you have, and know that there is reprogramming necessary by your feelings. Trust in your feelings, trust in that guidance, and know that step by step, day by day, you are relinquishing programming that is not good for you and turning towards loving self-care and generous, kind behavior that is arising from within your heart rather than conditioned teachings for the benefit of corporations. We will return shortly. Okay. Merry Christmas, everybody. What does this say? All right. Our first question. This is from Katie Stone. I'm going to tell you her name because it's a personal question. Zach and I are going to Mount Shasta, California for Christmas. We both felt strong intuition signs from the universe to go there. Then afterwards, we found out about the new moon solar eclipse happening on Christmas Day. Things just got juicier. So my question is, what is the meaning of this solar eclipse on Christmas Day? How can we use it effectively? Can being in a spiritual vortex like Mount Shasta affect us more deeply during it, and in what ways? Is there anything you can share with us that will help us set the highest intentions for the good of all for this solar eclipse? And if so, what would be the highest intentions we could set? Love, love, love you and Ananda. Much love. Okay. So that's kind of a multifaceted question there. Let's see what Ananda says. We're with you again, dear ones. So as usual, we thank all of you for dragging your bodies to this time and place so that we may all share in the energies together. We thank you for putting aside your busy celebrations today and coming to this place and time where love rules. Love rules here, and we are here to help you learn to love yourselves more. We are here to help you learn to love each other more. We are here to help you learn to love your planet more. And we will springboard off that to answer this question. Now, this young being is meeting her beloved, and they have set their sights on a sacred site, in their opinion. And as it turns out, an auspicious occasion in the solar calendar. What we want you to understand is that the material world is a reflection of consciousness. And so focal points such as volcanoes or pyramids or ancient sites, stone sites, these kinds of things, they are focal points that were and are used to gather energy. Your planet is very much like your energy, like your body. Your body has energy centers. It has the heart, it has the brain, it has the eyes, it has the nervous system, the spine, sensitive areas, the tips of your fingers, your lips, these kinds of things. So your body is very much like planet Earth in that sense. She, Gaia, is a conscious being and has focal points on her body as well. Now, volcanoes are particularly creative places. They are intermediary zones between the inner and the outer. The inner earth is coming up through a volcano. So it is a very, very powerful point of focus on the earth's body. So these are wonderful places for you to gather. They will give you an opportunity to go deeper, revealing things in your own minds as a reflection. So the inner is coming up to the surface to be seen, just as the magma is coming up from inside the earth to be seen and released up into the atmosphere. So if you are in a volcanic area, it's a very, very good time to dig deep. It's a very, very good time to actually answer that question that Jesus posed so recently. What is it that you're doing that you don't like doing? What is it that could be expressed more clearly in you? What is it that is being hidden by your free will? What are you choosing to hide from people? So as this young couple ventures off to this focal point, that would be something that would be very, very good for them to reveal. Let's say reveal a dark secret that they have been ashamed of, reveal something that they have not told anyone before. This would be a very beneficial thing. As for the eclipse, these are focal points. These are focal points that demonstrate alignments of planetary bodies, solar bodies in your solar system. That means that there is an alignment that is very brief and very significant happening. Now, everything that each of you do through your free will. When you have eclipses, when you have full moons, when you have these galactic alignments, it is a time of focus that can enhance that which you wish to experience. So you can use it to focus your mind and to understand that there is communication through all levels of consciousness. You often see yourselves as isolated. This is part of the separation experience. You see yourselves as alone. You think that the thoughts that you think aren't affecting anybody else, that they're secret. They are not. You are connected to everyone and everything. And that is why when you change your mind through the practices as discussed in A Course in Miracles, the world will change because you are connected to everything. The separation is an illusion, truly. You are connected to everything. You get glimpses of it throughout your day sometimes, where you'll get synchronicities, or you'll see those aligned numbers, or you'll go to phone somebody or message somebody and they're already messaging you. You get glimpses of it, but it is happening constantly. And so these focal points, these galactic alignments, are very similar in form to the focal points on the surface of the earth. That means you can use them for your benefit. That means that you can say, there is a solar alignment today. Let me spend half an hour focusing on that which I want to bring into manifestation. Knowing that you are connected to those astral bodies, knowing that you are connected somehow, you can't prove it, you can't understand it necessarily, but you are observing it, you are hearing about it. So if you are drawn to go somewhere, go there. Be brave and venture out of your routines. If a place calls you to go to it, a sacred site, for example, there may very well be an upgrade that is related to your relationship to that particular sacred site. Some people are drawn to the pyramids in Egypt. Some people are drawn to the structures in Machu Picchu. Some people are drawn to the Stonehenge circles. It doesn't matter what you're drawn to, but again, listen to that guidance. Is that guidance there all the time? Do you keep looking at photographs of a place? Do you keep thinking, I'd like to go there? Well, there is some guidance taking place, and you would be well served to listen to guidance that is repetitive, calm, quiet. It's always there. It is not the raucous screaming of the ego, I want that. It is a more gentle nudging that comes constantly, that is constantly saying, look here, there's something here for you. We will communicate with you through feeling far more than we will through any other methodology. Your feelings are often us guiding you somewhere. The definition the definition your society has of feelings is very nebulous. Most of you don't even really know what feelings are. They are these very powerful things that lead you all over the place. Some good, some bad, some confusing, some disastrous. But your feelings are often your guides and teachers telling you over and over again to look at this place, to go here, to participate in this activity. Perhaps you are meant to meet a good friend there. Perhaps you are going to have an experience which is the next leveling up in your consciousness expansion. These nudgings will often seem illogical. They may be more expensive than you'd like them to be. They may be too far away. There may be nice places much closer to home, and you think, why don't I want to go there? Why do I want to travel 5,000 miles? I don't know. It makes no sense. But logic is of the mind. Feeling is of the heart. The heart is where your treasures lie. The heart is where you are guided by us, by your guides and teachers, to participate in a world that is not necessarily what you've been trained to do. So we say, well done to these young beings. They are going on a great adventure at a time when they have a few days off. They are going to a special place at a special time, and they want to know how to use it. Well, we say to them, use it as you feel you need to. Now, this is going to be very annoying to them. They're going to say, no, we want you to tell us how to use it. We have told you enough that there are alignments and there are energy exchanges. Go deep into your relationship together, revealing that which you do not want to reveal. That is going to be the biggest application of this particular configuration for these two particular beings. Why? Well, humans are wounded in your society when it comes to relationship. They have a lot of fears. They have a lot of hidden defenses. They have a lot of things going on beneath the surface. Often you will show the shiny face, the social face, the happy face, the dating face. And as the relationship forms, let's say a couple is formed and perhaps they decide to move in together, whatever was hidden is going to come up because you cannot hide the truth. What we say to you is, to this particular couple in particular, Reveal that which you don't want to show your partner. Do it now rather than having it come up in a year or two when perhaps it's not going to be the best time to reveal that thing. Reveal that thing that you're ashamed of, reveal that thing that you're scared of, and connect into each other, trusting that your defenselessness makes you stronger. It will make the relationship stronger because there will be no secrets. There will be no hidden shadows. And this is often what undermines your relationships in this world. You look at each other and you paint on that happy dating face. And when the honeymoon is over, the truth about all of your dark skeletons in the closet comes out. And you say things like, he changed. She was not the person I married. And it may be true indeed. They may seem to be completely different, but they were just hiding an aspect of themselves. So all of you would be well served once you've found somebody that you think is potentially a good partner to begin to be really honest, to share your fears, to share your insecurities, and to not have those secrets, to not have those shadows lurking, waiting to destroy your relationships. So we wish this young couple well on their adventure, and we say, well done. You've chosen a great time. You've chosen a great location. Good luck. We will speak to you again shortly. All right. I wish them luck too. Whew, okay, let me just have a little sip here. Some water. Okay, in lesson 334, Jesus talks about the gifts of natural inheritance. Are these gifts in our blueprint? How do we know if we created things consciously or they have been part of our blueprint? How is this related to the law of attraction? Does it make any difference whether we envision and feel emotionally things that feel good to us in order to attract and bring them to our lives, such as more nature, more exciting jobs, better places to live, etc.? Okay, let me go through that again. In lesson 334, Jesus talks about the gifts of natural inheritance. Are these gifts in our blueprint? How do we know we created things consciously, or have they been part of our blueprint? How is this related to the law of attraction? Does it make any difference whether we envision and feel emotionally the things that feel good to us in order to attract and bring them to our lives? Okay, let's see what Jesus says. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus. And the law of attraction is a little deceptive in its simplest forms, in that it gets you to focus on material things such as cars and houses and relationships. None of these are bad in and of themselves, but we would prefer that you begin to look at your life in a more holistic way. That means every single thing that you are experiencing is being manifested by the law of attraction. So that means the house you're living in, that means the structure and weight and strength or lack of strength in your body. That means your partner, it means your bank account, it means your job, it means the dog you have, it means the children you have, it means your in-laws, it means the vegetables you're growing in your garden. Every single thing that you are experiencing is a reflection of your consciousness. It is not happening to you, it is coming from you. One of the reasons that the Course in Miracles lessons are so powerful is because it takes you out of that superficial looking at the law of attraction. I'd like a new car. How do I get my vibe in the right place to get a new car? Which is very simplistic, and we will say in accord with your materialistic culture. What we would prefer you to do is to understand the subtleties of the law of attraction as they work through and with your consciousness. Your consciousness has 1,000, we will say minimum 1,000 ideas and beliefs, fears, loves, passions, defenses, all kinds of things, programs running, 1,000 different things. And those 1,000 different things are going to be arising constantly in form around you all the time. So if you are particularly focused on one material thing, you may be confused at your inability to manifest it, because you are saying to yourself, yes, but I'm very, very focused on getting a new car. This is something I want. It's going to make me happy. I'm going to look good driving that car. I need a more reliable vehicle. The logical mind is going to be lining up all of those arguments. However, if you, in this thousands of different beliefs and ideas that you have in your mind that are you're not always aware of, there may be contraindications to getting a new car. You may, for example, have some little judgment when you see somebody driving a flashy car. You may unconsciously feel that they're showing off, that they are making up for something somehow. This may not be something that's really conscious in your mind. It could be a fleeting thought that you have occasionally. Now, what we will tell you is, if your desire for a new car is counter to that very subtle but present judgment that you have about people who drive flashy cars, what you're going to have is contradictory beliefs. And you may not be aware of them. You may not be aware of them because the tiny upset, the tiny judgment may not be there all the time. It's kind of underground. Again, we bring to mind the idea of the iceberg, where your social face, the personality that you present to the world is the iceberg above the surface, and beneath that is every belief, every indoctrination, every idea that you've ever had taught to you lurking beneath the surface. So when we compare your current incarnation to other experiences that you're having in other timelines, you will often share similar qualities. Now, when people have past life recollections, often they will say, well, I was stabbed in the stomach in this lifetime and died, and now I have constant stomach pain from an ulcer. And they will attribute the present problem to the past. This is not what's happening. What's happening is an issue in that part of your energy system is being worked on in both lifetimes, in both incarnations. One is not the cause of the other. They are both forms of the same thing revealing themselves to you. So most of you will not have a past life or other timeline recollection until it's beneficent for you. And we want you to understand that in all timelines, in all illusory lives, you are learning how to love. You are learning how to let go of limiting beliefs and ideas. You are learning how to let go of resentments. And you may have a multiplicity of different forms in the form of different incarnations, helping you work through the same things, helping you work through the same issues. They have become issues for some reason or other. The mind has believed in them. The mind has become distorted in some way, and it keeps manifesting the same thing in an effort to work it out. What you can guarantee in this incarnation is that your guidance system is timeless. It was before you were born into this physical body. It will be after you have left this physical body. One of the things that is very important for you to understand is that the training programs that you go through here on Earth are very, very detrimental to your listening to your guidance system. So this is a big point of conflict when it comes to manifesting what you want to manifest. We go back to this idea of, what are you doing at Christmas that you don't want to do? Where are you compromising yourself? Because what's happening is something that is positive for you is being shut down by the training program that says you shouldn't do that. Let us say that you have a desire to travel, but you have been indoctrinated into the financial and workaday world programs of this society that says you can't travel unless you're rich. Now, that belief in and of itself will prevent you from traveling if you're not rich. So what you will have is a desire to travel and a belief that it's impossible for you. So you take one step forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back. Your training programs will say, yes, but it's true. You can't travel unless you're rich. But we will say there are a lot of people who travel who are not rich. They have made choices that are different than yours, perhaps. They have skill sets that are different than yours, perhaps. But there are a lot of people who travel who are not rich. However, as long as you have that belief, I can't travel because I'm not rich, it will manifest for you and it will be true for you. And you will feel as if the universe is working against you, but it is you working against you. You have competing beliefs that are not allowing you to move forward. You are going to have to choose one of those beliefs to evict. If you want to travel, you have to evict that belief. I must be wealthy to travel. How do you do that? You start investigating people who travel who aren't rich. How are they doing it? What are they doing? What skill sets do they have? How are they managing this? That is how you will shift your beliefs into alignment with what you want. And it doesn't matter what subject it is. You must begin to see where you are working, your mind is working against itself and preventing you from moving forward. Now, you must remember, if a belief is residing in your mind, you have allowed it there. You believe it, therefore it has all of your creative power behind it. Even if it was put there by a parent, it now resides there because you allow it. And this is the basic work that we are doing here with the Course in Miracles, is what beliefs are residing in your mind, what thoughts are they generating, and do you want them to live there, and do you like the results that they are bringing into manifestation all around you? Your blueprint is what you came into this life with. There's a lot of choice. The blueprint is not rigid in that sense, but there are certain structures. We have told you before, the blueprint is very much like a house. There are certain load-bearing walls. There are certain foundational elements. There are certain things you can choose, the flooring, the wall colors, the draperies. There's lots of choice in there, but some of those fundamental foundational structural elements are going to be coming up in you in the form of a strong feeling. I want to be a painter. No matter where I go, no matter who I'm with, no matter whether I'm married or single or rich or poor, I love art. I want to be a painter. That's going to be one of those clues as to whether or not it's a foundational element or not. If something disappears, ebbs and flows, generally speaking, it's not a foundational element. Those foundational elements are strong in you and they come with you. They are always there, no matter where you live, no matter what you're doing. It could be that you want to be a parent. It could be that you want to have children. And no matter how illogical or who you're dating or where you're living, there's this strong, strong feeling that you want to have children. That would be a foundational element of your blueprint. There are lots of other programs that are affecting what you desire, however. Our dear one has noticed on her journey, she's just taken a very, very long drive from Canada to Sedona, which we will talk about at some point. And she has noticed how quickly she can recognize the logos of cars. She has also noticed how quickly she can recognize the logo of the next Starbucks on the highway. She has been trained by this society to recognize logos. Logos carry great power in your society, and they trigger the program that was implanted with the advertisement. You've got to remember, you would not know what a Lexus logo looks like unless you had seen a Lexus commercial, unless you owned a Lexus car. But our dear one noticed, that's a Mitsubishi, that's a Lexus. And she would observe, oh, I see more value in that car because of the logo. So this is how you are programmed in your society. And that's an obvious one, but this is happening all the time. Now, those programs that are put in you over and over and over again by tens of years of watching commercials, watching that 30-second commercial at the Super Bowl. We say if commercials didn't affect you so much, why do they pay so much to have that 30 seconds at the Super Bowl when 1 billion people are watching? Because it makes money for them. So be aware that you have this inner guidance and you also have this conditioned guidance. The conditioned guidance is going to be more about acquisition. The heartfelt guidance is going to be more about experience. So that is one way that you can discern. The other way is the feeling of acquisition is going to be, if I don't get that thing, I'm going to be less somehow. The heartfelt guidance, the blueprint guidance, doesn't have that judgment with it. It just keeps saying, this looks good, this is interesting. It doesn't have that negative connotation of, if I don't get it, I'm going to be less than. It's just a constant iteration, reiteration of, I love art, I want to see art. It's not a, if I'm not an artist, I'm going to be less valuable. It is more of a positive feeling. So in closing to this answer, we will say, Spirit always speaks to you through positivity. It always speaks to you through curiosity, interest, excitement, value, creativity. Conditioned programs tend to limit you. For me to look successful, I have to have this car. That one won't do. I want this one. That is kind of a limiting feeling to it. It will be the thing that says you can't do that because people will laugh at you. It will be the thing that says don't do that, it's too dangerous. Don't do that, it's going to cost too much money. You don't have enough. Spirit will say, go on the journey. Spirit will say, that looks interesting. So this is a way that you can discern between the conditioned programs and the heartfelt blueprint expressing itself through you. We will return shortly. All right. Let me just have a little sip here. Can Jesus and Ananda explain what's behind lucid dreams of flying? I think this is very common for people. I wonder if it's connected to remembering a past life as a bird or an ET race with flying capacity, or if it's simply a little hint and a wink from Spirit that the laws of this world only apply as long as you believe them, and if we stop believing in gravity, we could fly. I know I dream of this often, that myself in my current body can fly, and often as I'm drifting off to sleep, I have the sensation of flying, and it startles me awake. Okay. Lucid dreams of flying. Let's see what Ananda says. We're with you again, dear ones. Dreams are not what you think they are. They are several things going on with dreams. A flying dream is symbolic often of literally taking off. Flying, words like this are so obvious that it's easier to miss them. Taking off is something that Spirit wants to do. It wants to express itself. It wants to soar above the mundane. It wants to be exceptional in some ways. The blueprint, the desires that you come into this world with are often squelched and limited and put off so that you are feeling earthbound. You are not soaring with spirit. You are not climbing to the heights that you would like to climb to. So flying is often used in as a symbolic representation of taking off. So for this person, we would say to them, do you feel that you are tying yourself down in some way that is not beneficial to you? Is there something that you would like to be freer to do that you are not doing? Dreams also are a place where you practice things. This is not often thought of in your modern dream analysis, but it's a place where the mind tries things out to see how it might go. The dream life is much more real than you give it credit for. You think of it as images inside your brain somehow that are being tripped in the nighttime, and they don't really mean anything. They mean a tremendous amount, and it is a place where you can do a lot of creative work. So one of the ways that you can use dream time is to set yourself some assignments. You can set yourself some assignments of bringing into your dream experience that which you seem unable to manifest into physical reality. So let's say you are seeking to start a business, but you can't seem to quit the job you've got. You can't quite get the money together that you need to register the company and the time and all of that stuff. What we would suggest you do is that you begin to ask for dreams about that particular desire that you have. Going to bed at night and saying, please show me in dream time what's going on and what in me is preventing me from being able to manifest this thing that I really, really feel I want to manifest. The dream space is a space where we are able to access you very, very easily because the ego is less active. The fears, the controls, the limiting beliefs are much less active and at times completely absent from your consciousness. And so we can take you on journeys that you cannot go consciously in your awakening time. This is one of the reasons why dreams have been dismissed in some way. We would like you not to dismiss dreams. We would like you to actively use dreams, in fact, to communicate with spirit. We will tell you that there are a lot of extraterrestrial communications and contacts made in the dream state, first of all, because your consciousness does not stay within your body during your dream time. It is off gallivanting around in all kinds of different places. It goes into different dimensions. It can travel through time and space in this dimension. And this is where a lot of extraterrestrial contact is first made. The memories of those dreams are often erased initially because of the fear factor. A lot of you have a lot of fears about communicating with extraterrestrials because of the movies that you have seen and the horror stories that you have heard. And so what the extraterrestrials will do is that they will communicate with you in dream time. They will access your consciousness and introduce themselves, allowing the mind in general to accept this communication. Even though the conscious memory of it may be erased, there is a knowing within the mind that contact has been made. So if you're curious about expanding your consciousness, set yourself some assignments before going to bed. Set yourself some assignments about asking questions. Set yourself some assignments about making extraterrestrial contact if that is what you would like to do. It is a place where you can continue on your consciousness expansion, your education, and your experiences. And as you begin to use dream time more and more, you will realize that for 8 or 10 hours each day, you are gaining expertise, experience in areas that you cannot perhaps access during your awake time. But it may very well lead to that experience forming in your awake time, because in the mind, the sleeping mind, even though the consciousness is still very much present, the possibility of that experience now becomes more real. You've done it in your dream time. That means your mind can accept the fact that perhaps you can do it in your waking time. We will return shortly. All right. Uh-oh. Okay. My computer's misbehaving here. All right. Well, my questions have gone, my computer with the questions on it has died. So I am going to go to the chat here. And would one of you like to pose a question in the chat for me? This will be the quick typists, I'm sure, that are going to get there first. I always see things like this as they're meant to happen. So for some reason, I'm not getting charged here. What is the black hole that scientists have found? What is the black hole that scientists have found? I would love to learn about black holes and gravity. Let's see what Jesus has to say about black holes. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus. Your understanding of galaxies and stars is very, 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 very limited. The science that you are allowed to hear about is very filtered. So there is a certain amount of information that's allowed to come your way. There's a certain amount of information that is not allowed to come your way. The black hole phenomenon is very much like a vortex of energy that is part of the creative process of the universe. The stars are born, stars die, black holes bring in to their center a lot of energy, and it is used in other places to create things. So what you're seeing in a black hole is, we will think like the drain in a bathtub. The water going down the drain has not disappeared. It has gone somewhere else. The energy that is going into a black hole is coming up in another place. It is a completely closed system in that sense. When you're curious about things like this, it's very important not to rely on mainstream news. It is a very, very good idea for you to go onto your YouTube channels and find what you would consider alternative scientific explanations of things. Time travel is something that is completely normal within this universe. Time travel is used all the time by your military industrial complex. They will use natural portals in the sun. There are natural portals on the earth. There are all kinds of unusual experiences that can be had that you are being denied through your education system and through the dissemination of materials through your mainstream media systems. So we would suggest that you investigate using what you would consider unconventional or less than popular systems. everything is mind in this universe. Consciousness is manifested through everything. So when you think of something like a black hole, it is just a part of consciousness that is taking in information. And there are other parts of the universe, the suns and the solar phenomena, for example, that are expressing energy. So it is very much like the breathing in and the breathing out. The black hole would be breathing in information, the stars and the generative or active bodies in the universe would be expressing that energy. They are not necessarily separate from each other. We will return shortly. Okay. All right. Can Jesus explain more about the ego? I am getting clinical counseling, and I was told that there is a slight issue with ACIM as it puts the ego in a bad light. Is there a healthy ego? Thank you. Let's see what Ananda says. Oh, we're with you again, dear ones. Traditional psychotherapy is looking at the mind in a very, very different way than A Course in Miracles looks at the mind. A Course in Miracles looks at the collective consciousness, the collective ego. It is looking at the idea of separation. It is not looking at the idea of individual human beings being different from each other. Things like healthy boundaries, even though that came up in a question recently, it's important for you to understand that the definition of ego mind within A Course in Miracles is very different than ego mind in a traditional psychotherapeutic situation. In an individual psychotherapeutic situation, you would be considered an individual that has individual thoughts, that you are born, that you die, that you have a series of needs that are physical in nature, and that if you don't meet those needs, then you will suffer. There are a lot of beliefs and ideas, and we're not saying they're bad. What we're saying is that the ego definition in A Course in Miracles is just a different definition. The ego mind in A Course in Miracles is referred to as one mind, so that the ego thoughts that you all have, because you believe in separation, you believe that your ego is in charge. There is an ego mind that is pervading everything, and you tune into it. You will experience it through your own decoding system, the brain, that kind of idea. But there are universal ideas within the ego mind, just as there are universal ideas within the Christ mind. Can you have a healthy ego? Yes, of course you can have a healthy ego. You can have an ego that is put in its place by your spiritual practice. When you begin to see yourself as an eternal spiritual being temporarily housed in a physical body, when you begin to see yourself as a very powerful creator that is that is able to generate experiences, people, places, things, experiences through focused attention, then you are beginning to use the mind properly. When you understand that the ego mind is associated with the physical body only, and the ego is only concerned about keeping the physical body alive today, then you begin to, you stop asking the ego to do things for you, let's say, that are long-term plans. The ego is very, very short-term focused. It is the ego that says, have another drink of wine or have another piece of cheesecake. It is the ego that says, you may have 40 pairs of shoes, but let's buy some more. Bad short-term planning. Why? Because the ego is about the present, in that sense that it wants to keep you alive in this moment. Longer term intelligent wisdom is going to come from a mind that is focused on truth. That means that you see, when I am focusing my mind on positive things, I feel better, I feel less fear. When I am looking at the long term, I am going to make better choices about, for example, what I eat and drink, because I would like to have a longer experience in the physical form in an effort to get as many lessons and as much consciousness expansion under my belt in this incarnation as I can. Now, it is merely a matter of semantics that is causing you confusion. And that is okay. The psychotherapist will use the word ego in a very different way than A Course in Miracles will use the word ego. The overall implication behind A Course in Miracles' use of the word ego is that the ego is responsible for your separated condition. And the separated condition that you believe in is what causes you suffering. So in that sense, the ego ruling, the ego being in charge of everything is a bad idea. The ego being in charge of keeping you physically safe in the moment is not a bad idea. The ego will say, don't step on that rotten piece of wood, you're going to fall through it. Spirit may go, you're an eternal spiritual being, don't worry about it. So in certain circumstances, the ego is beneficial. What you want to do is you want to have your ego contained in such a way that it is not in charge of the most important decisions of your life. You want the spiritual practice that you've cultivated to guide you from the heart towards that which is beneficent to your evolution. Ego does not care about your evolution. And so really it's a management system of the physical. Spirit is a management system of the non-physical. Now, you do find yourselves in bodies, you do find yourselves with mortgage payments, you do find yourself driving cars, you are having a physical experience. And so the ego's management system is okay in certain circumstances and under the auspices of a cultivated spiritual practice, which can moderate the ego's impetuousness. We will return shortly. Okay. All right, we've got some good questions here. In my daily meditations, I try to connect with my guides and brothers and sisters in the stars. I hear information in my mind at the same time. I doubt what I hear. The message received is my doubt limits communication and message being sent, and that is real and not made up, and that it does not make me crazy. Is this true? Is my mind just making it up? Okay. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus. The ego is the doubting part of the mind. What you are most likely experiencing in your meditations is that doubting part of the mind. It is the questioning part of the mind. It is the part of the mind that says that's not true. I can't be having information directly from my star brothers and sisters. Why is the ego mind like that? Well, it is like that because it is trained to be like that. It is a part of your intellectual, we will say, development, although we use that word cautiously because often it's not that developed, that says don't believe anything that you can't see. And this is a very, very common experience when we are going into extrasensory perception, because your society has for hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of years, punished and even killed those who have participated in extrasensory perception. So you have a very, very deep indoctrination in your society that it is not safe to have communications like this being is having right now. There are many, many people who would witness her doing this channeling that would say she was either possessed, that it was the devil's handiwork, that she is insane, that she is psychotic, all of the above. What we ask you to look at is the advice and the content of the information. And we would advise you to do the same with the content of the information that you are encountering in your meditations, knowing that you have a society that has forbidden this kind of communication. You may even have come from a religious background that has scared you a little bit regarding non-physical communication. So it is a matter of practice. If you keep practicing in your meditations, and for the time that you're meditating, put aside the doubting mind. We're not asking you to write a book. We're not asking you to do anything in public, and we would suggest that you don't do anything in public with the information until you come to a place where you feel comfortable. But in your meditation, say, for this meditation, I am going to put aside my doubting mind. I am going to put aside this constant thing in my head that argues with what I'm hearing. I am just going to write down the information. And when I'm out of my meditation, I'm going to look at the information and I'm going to ask myself, does this sound reasonable? Does this sound healthy? Does this sound sane? If you are getting information that's violent or attacking or judgmental, then you might believe that your mind is making it up. Then you might believe that you have made contact with a lower frequency entity of some kind. If that is happening, then we say, put aside that desire for communication, put aside that attempt at communication, double down on your forgiveness practice, double down on your loving nature, double down on your prayer practice, connecting with higher frequencies, walking in nature, eating more healthy foods, these kinds of things, and then try again in a few months. If, however, you put aside the doubting mind and you find, there is a stream of information that seems to show up every time I meditate, I'm just going to look at it with an open mind. I'm just going to listen to it and see what it has to say, and do this over time. Do this over several months so that you become used to it. And whenever fear comes up, ask yourself, what's beneath this fear? What is the form of this fear? Is it a fear of possession? Is it a fear of the church finding out? Is it a fear of insanity? These are the very, very first things that come up when extrasensory perception, when extra physical communications are happening. Why? Because you're trained in this in your society. You're trained to not speak to spirit. You're trained not to connect with your intuition. One of the things that you'll see happening in school is dismissing of children's creativity. That's where your intuition is coming into play. So very slowly from grade 1 up to your high school years, your creativity is limited more and more. You are overly intellectualized. You are overly educated in that sense. There is not enough play. There is not enough creativity. These things are dismissed as valueless. First thing someone will say to you is, if you are a creative, well, you can't do that for work. You won't make any money at it. And so it's dismissed again. It's dismissed, dismissed, dismissed. And so that's the voice that you're hearing. You're hearing the voice of the training in your society that says, do not go here. This is a dangerous place. Somebody might throw you in an insane asylum. So keep your communications open. Feel your way into them. If they turn dark or negative, back away and increase the light in your own mind, increase the light in your own practice, knowing that your frequency is going to set the tone for the communications that you make, just as this being set the tone by dedicating herself to her forgiveness practice, by dedicating herself to cultivating a peaceful mind. What that did was set the tone for these communications to come through. It was not accidental. It did not just happen upon her. She was tuning her mind on a daily basis. So continue to tune your mind on a daily basis. Understand that the ego is the doubting, judgmental part of the mind. And listen to what these communications are saying to you. Keep going back, keep feeling good about them, take notes, and more shall be revealed. All right. Everyone can see me. I've got a darkening room with one light here, so let me just move this light a little bit. I'm in a new place, so I haven't got everything sorted out. Okay, we have time for one more question. Okay. Are the bushfires in Australia at this time reflecting consciousness in an ending and rebirth? Yes, I did see a post about the fires in Australia. They're really quite intense. So let's see what Jesus has to say. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus. Your planet is increasing in temperature, as are all the planets in your solar system. It is not just a human-caused issue. What's happening is this compression, this bringing things to the surface, this clarification, if you will, is also strengthening the activity of your planet. And so the hot places are getting hotter. Some of the cold places are getting colder. Hurricanes are becoming stronger. It is not a punishment. It is an increasing frequency and activity. When you think about boiling water, for example, you are heating the molecules and they begin to dance. That's what the boiling water is. It's energy added to the molecules and they begin to move more quickly. So if you think about the earth going through a transitional phase where there's more light, more energy coming to her, which is what we have been telling you, then lots of things are going to become agitated. Volcanoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, hurricanes, civil unrest. You are all connected. You are all feeling this. It is not something to fear. It is something that is asking more and more and more of humanity. So what you're seeing in these, there are several causes of the fires. Some are man-made, some are natural consequences of increasing temperature. So it's not an all or nothing thing. But what is generally happening on your planet at this time is stresses are increasing in an effort to get humanity to wake up into a higher level of consciousness. So things like refugee crises or destruction of environment requires humans to pull together, requires humans to assist each other. And what's being witnessed on your planet at this time is a very, very confusing and chaotic blending of digging heels in and change coming. So the fires in particular are, Australia's always been a very, very hot place. This is nothing new. What's happening in particular to Australia is it was already a hot place. Now that the planet is becoming more heated, more activated, it is pushing that particular part of the world into a less habitable, less welcoming climate for humans and animal life. So what does this mean? It means that Australians are going to have to become more innovative. It means they're going to have to work together to ensure that firefighting systems are good, that water systems are good. What's happening generally with humans is you've sort of gone into this industrial revolution phase, we'll say the last couple of 100 years of your society, and you've just been building willy-nilly. You've been designing houses that aren't that efficient. You've been designing water systems and sewer systems that aren't that efficient. And you've just been going along tick-tock, thinking that everything is going to stay the same. Well, it's not. And the increase in population, the increase in activity, energetic activity on the planet is starting to break some of these systems. It's starting to push them to the limit. Many of these systems can be reworked. Many of these systems can be upgraded. Many of these systems that have been built purely for profit for corporations have not got human well-being and animal well-being as their main reason for being. And so what you're being asked to do is evolve. You're being asked to change. You're being asked to move at times. What you have, generally speaking, in this society is a very distracted population, a very short-sighted population. Remember what the previous answer about the ego was. The ego is very short-sighted, and the news media and the propaganda of your mainstream media systems are constantly pushing you into fight or flight through fear. That means the ego strengthened. That means you're making very short-term decisions. You're not making long-term, healthy, caring, loving decisions. So really all of this is coming to a head now, and it's asking more and more and more of humanity. And as you go through this narrow funnel where the pressure is building, amazing innovations, amazing new developments are going to come to the surface because they have to. If you want to survive, you're going to have to use that beautiful human ingenuity and creativity that has been really put on the back burner through being entertained all the time, through being coddled all the time, through having too much food, through having all kinds of technology that separate you from nature. Nature's asserting herself. Nature is saying, hey, you, I'm over here, and you better pay attention. So this is about all of you becoming more connected to nature, not becoming more fearful of her, but asking, where can I help nature? Where can I do something that's going to assist in the evolution of my society with and around nature? So don't go into fear. It is easy for us to say that. We are not incarnated in physical bodies. We are not driven by our egos. But those of you that are doing this work are being driven less and less by your egos. And we would like you to see your connection to nature as one of the most valuable things, rather than seeing yourself separated and threatened by nature. Earth is going through her own evolutionary journey. And as we've said before, you're like fleas on a dog, and the dog's going into the river, and so are you. So raise your frequencies up, use your intelligence and your ingenuities. If you're living in a place where there is increasing temperatures and decreasing amounts of water, invest your savings in water collection systems, invest your savings in environmental mutual funds, stop worrying about your interest rate in your mutual fund and putting it in oil and gas. Put it in solar panels, put it in wind technology, put it in innovative places. You are all driving the economies, you are all consuming the products, you are all participating in the creation and co-creation of this world. Step into your power, stand up to the corporations, and vote with your dollars, vote with your money, vote with your aware, kind and gentle minds, and begin to shift the focus of your societies from capitalism and profit, not away from your own individual abilities to create, but towards a more compassionate and loving and healthy place. We thank you for joining us today. We wish you the best of the season, and we remind you to use your guidance system today to figure out what you would like to add or delete to your Christmas experience next year. I'm that one that you know is Jesus, and I will speak to you again soon. Okay, that's fabulous. That was a good answer. Okay, everybody, thank you very, very much for joining me today. I have sent out an email already with our next week's live stream link in it. It will be on New Year's Eve. I'm going to do it at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. I am in Mountain Time now, so just make a note of that. And I'll send you a reminder the day before. So thank you everyone for joining me. I will load this video up and you will get an email tomorrow containing the link for that video. So enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.